Ho, 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 and go, Pack, go. We are. I am Matty Day,
I am Tommy Burns.
and we are.
Not so.
Not so live, and not so Stadium Drive either. But tell you what, Tom.
First remote gig.
I was watching football last night on a Saturday night, and
Kind
if
of
they can
odd.
call it the Saturday night edition of Thursday Night Football, we can call this the Mike McCarthy Way edition of Live from Stadium Drive. Covered?
Of
Deal?
Like live, yes. I
Like
it.
live-ish?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's never been as live in this NFC North. What an eventful day. And it's only
It's like 3 o'clock or
yeah,
something?
It's things have just been all over the place. Games have been tight, scores have been a lot. There's kind of a lot of ground to cover. It's been a lot of fun. We're hanging out here, if you haven't seen it, the Green Bay Distillery right there on McCarthy Way, and it's
Formerly Potts Avenue.
yeah.
I didn't realize they had made the change until we walked in. And
They're jumping the gun, I think.
jumping the gun. Yeah, I mean, they're getting right on that.
Yeah.
Stationary might even reflect it already, but give the man credit.
Yeah.
Big Mac.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about McCarthy today. Got to talk about some of the stuff that he's been doing, some of the trends of Mike McCarthy in 2014. But overall, Packers came into Tampa. Rodgers had never won there before. Handled things.
Yeah.
Got
Perhaps
hurt.
even a bit against a bit stiffer opposition than you'd think, because I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, we didn't just go in there and roll. There were some good performances, but it was slow roll, and we finally eked out a touchdown there at the end of the first quarter. But we were stymied quite a bit for a little while there.
Well, I mean, we joked about how it wasn't even worth talking about Tampa coming into this game. Like, this was about the Packers. But, give credit where it's due. A lot of good players on the Buccaneers. Mike Evans, another one of those rookie phenoms from this 2014 draft class. Levante David, solid player on defense, good linebacker. Michael Johnson. I mean, there are some players on that team, but we just knew. Yeah.
I didn't expect our front seven to be getting after McCown that much. I mean, it was
Right.
It was just it was really raining at one point. We were consistently always getting pressure. You had no time in the pocket. Just getting knocked around. You can't advance the ball. I mean, again, the defense came in and just made this such a manageable game, because even though we started slow, we never had to panic because
They just kept it coming up front.
yeah.
All our guys get a piece of the action.
Yep.
Mike Neal, Mike Diesel, Clay several times.
Julius.
Getting in there.
Burnett, again, consistently getting in there and blowing up plays, playing way more physical this year than he ever has in his tenure here in Green Bay.
I want to talk a little bit about Morgan Burnett, because you see the Packers do some things with a guy like Burnett, who was a fairly high draft pick. I believe he was a third-round draft
Sounds
pick.
right, yeah.
He got the big contract extension last year, and sometimes you give a guy that extension based on their potential, and he's actually starting to live up to that.
Yeah.
They're just kind of setting him up to be a defensive leader. Also voted a playoff captain.
That says a lot.
That's real cool, man. I mean, you need that solid presence at safety, so you can free up the other guy in and get him roaming around a little bit more.
And then knock on wood, we've had a healthy stable of safeties, because before, the rap was Burnett's play suffered because he didn't have anybody on his side, and that he was injured for a while. It's kind of been some unstable, but I mean, that Burnett can kind of be the leader, and guys like Dix can have an opportunity to kind of do what they do best as far as, nose in the backfield and kind of making a jump on plays.
Roman, center fielder type.
It's not just 2+2, it's exponential how these guys help each other if both sides of the ball are covered. You're not having to always play catch up or trying to cover more ground than you should be.
And helping the defense overall. I mean, having solid play in the background to complement that good push up front. Even inside, Clay obviously doing very well inside this game especially, but Barrington was disruptive.
Still playing physical.
Physical yet disciplined. I mean, he had that roughing the dude play last week. And this week he played disciplined.
Yeah.
I like what we're seeing out of Barrington. That's a
Absolutely.
cool presence in the middle there.
Yep.
The one guy I will single out on the defense is Sam Shields. Sam Shields has a tendency, and it was at its worst in 2011 where he would go for the pick
above the
instead of
tackle.
or go for the big play instead of just the sure thing, or even just wrapping up a guy to where your mates can come over and finish the tackle. Saw it again on him today. He gave up a big pass to I think that one was to Mike Evans, where it should have been maybe a 6-yard gain. Instead, they converted
because he's out of position
or something. Yeah,
if he doesn't make it, he's out of position.
Exactly. I mean, there's no one there because that's his guy.
Reward.
He had another play where it was probably McCown's biggest pass of the day to Vincent Jackson, or to anybody. This one went to Vincent
on the
Jackson.
Left sideline.
Yep. It was Haha and Sam on the coverage, and you can see on the replay, Sam is there, and he just kind of goes like that. Like, haha, you got it. And Sam had the way better angle, and the guy ends up catching it. Granted, the Buccaneers, at that point, and arguably for the whole game, had that kind of a game plan where it's just like, you've lost so much this season that you have nothing more to lose.
Yes. No, they were for a while just winging it up there. And really,
throw out those 50-50 plays, I mean, like...
And it worked a couple times. I mean, what else were they doing? Nothing else worked. We were stuffing all the run game.
Incredible run defense. Incredible, I'll pick on Sam Shields, but if that's the biggest violator today, that's I can live with that. Defense overall, holding this team to 3 points at home. That's what you want to see going into this playoff run, which essentially started today.
Did the Tampa Bay defense just overachieve? Is that why we had our struggles, or did we kind of? I mean, people were commenting that Rodgers was really slow to get up and everything early on, and obviously we didn't roll out of there against a team that's struggling. We didn't blow them out. I mean, it wasn't a dominating performance. Right. Should it have been? I mean, are you worried or whatever? Or was that just their defense really coming to play, spirited under good game plan under Lovey? Because they were playing physical. I mean,
they absolutely were, and they had their half of the crowd into it at points. But
that was
what I didn't, my ignorant self didn't know going into this game is that Leslie Frazier is their D coordinator for the Buccaneers, former Vikings coach. So you got a former Bears coach as the head coach, former Vikings coach as your D coordinator.
A lot of insight into Rodgers.
A lot of that they have faced off so many times. Lovey went into this game talking about how he never had to face Eddie Lacy or a dominant Green Bay runner like that. And I think that just had something to do with it. Maybe just the insight from having played the Packers and McCarthy
I think
so
that
many
counts.
times.
Knowing, I mean, it's not a completely foreign opponent. It's not like that once every 4 years. Like you said, that both Lovey and Frazier are familiar with that. I mean,
heck, throw EDS. Yeah. Evan Dietrich Smith, former Packers safety, now starting for the Buccaneers. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that's kind of the way the league goes. You try to give your team any edge you can, but you talk about a center, you talk about a couple of former divisional rival coaches. It's a lot of insider information, and the Buccaneers, a plucky team.
And they talked about how the Packers fans travel well, and they did. They traveled well, but as far as perhaps the IQ of some of those guys there was late third, early fourth when we were on offense, and it was the loudest. It was all Packers fans there.
It was the loudest "Go Pack Go," and it was like third down, Packers in the red zone. Come on, Packers fans.
Yeah.
We're gonna turn it over to Aaron Rodgers now. Oh shoot, you can turn him up.
Packers quarterback making comments as we speak live on the microphone.
We're just gonna watch him while you watch us. Yeah. Just kidding. Yeah. Let's talk about Aaron while he talks about himself. This show gets more meta by the week, man.
It does.
Rodgers.
Fourth wall just demolished. Sorry.
Wink. Came into the game apparently with a head cold. I can relate, but I could have gone out there and played like he did today too. No, he battled. I mean, these are the types of things that just define a leader in the NFL. You don't have a guy going out there when his leg is dangling, but like a guy who's taking hits, hobbled, sick, whatever. You never know what's going on behind the scenes with these guys. For Rodgers, you could see it all over his face and his body language today. He wasn't himself. He wasn't 100% Aaron, and he battled. He even like ran for a couple plays. He was still making plays, rolling out to the left, to the right.
In between the snaps, he looked like a different Rodgers. But man, once the ball was on, I mean, there were a couple off throws which you kind of maybe scratch your head a little bit, whether it was underthrown or that.
Skippers,
but really,
yeah.
between most of the whistles, he was playing Aaron Rodgers football. The connection with Cobb today, I mean, Cobb is obviously the standout amongst the wideouts.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good contributions around, but almost a career game for Cobb. I mean, he was just throughout the entire game being able to get open, make plays in space, catch the tight balls, get the crucial clutch, even if it's the 4-yard dump off for the first down. I mean, he was there short, medium, and long.
And they continue to come up with more creative ways to get the ball to Cobb. They used to do those kind of have the guy, lined up wide and just like the quick release out to him. They used to try that stuff with like Donald Driver, and it never really went anywhere. With Randall Cobb, and there was even one that went to Devontae Adams today.
Yep.
But Cobb especially, they are finding more and more ways to get Randall Cobb involved, and I'm so impressed with his 2014 campaign.
Getting him in open space, they know now that just like creative ways to get him the ball and let him make plays. I think that's why they keep him on punt return, because they're just like the opportunity is there.
Get him on the field.
And you see his kind of cuts and his timing and his vision are so unorthodox sometimes. Like he does things that you wouldn't normally see back, and you see, sometimes they work. Majority of the time, I guess you could say they don't. It's not like he's at a breakout year as a punt returner.
Right.
But like,
well, let me ask you something. I didn't see the first kick. My cat made a mess upstairs, and I had to clean it up like right then. So I missed the start of the game. Who returned the first kickoff?
It was
it Duan? Business as usual. Okay.
Because we started back. Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna see more Cobb on special teams. You guarantee Slocum is making a case for it. Like, give me this dude to get out there. Hyde, does a fine job. Harris does a fine job, but neither would be classified as a game breaker. Nobody's gonna break it open like Cobb potentially can.
Unless, who you give more credence to his speed, but he really, I think, tried to assert his physical aspect of his game with Starks today. I don't know if you give him a second shot, but he's shown that, I think he's at the point where he's just he knows he's number 2 and he wants to be that strongest number 2, because he was laying shoulders in, and it obviously didn't knock guys back the way Lacey does, but he was playing fast, he was playing forward, he was playing physical. I love
James Starks.
Yeah,
Big fan of Jim.
Just what an addition. I mean, they said now 5 years with the team, and it's kind of flown by. I mean, he still seems, like he's, he got
battled injuries for a while.
Got a lot of road ahead of him.
He's, definitely.
I think he keeps ascending. It feels like he can keep ascending and just develop and be in that.
Yeah, between him and Eddie, that's a money combo. But hell, even John Kuhn
getting in there,
getting
big time.
Some big yardage today.
Racking up some yards. Yeah.
He's quietly been playing pretty awesome lately. Good blocks, decent running.
Each year it's just do you keep him, do you not? Do you have space for a fullback? Is he just there for a veteranship and a couple close yardage? Right. I mean, I was almost before this year on the fence just get some of these young guys in, but maybe he's kind of, his intangibles are unable to be quantified, who knows what he really does out there as far as kind of a security blanket for, a lot of things out there, and that you don't see the crucial pass blocking sometimes on the replay just because the camera doesn't show you or whatever, but it's
well, hey, as the Packers offense has continued to evolve this season, you've seen them bring John Kuhn back into the mix. He was not very involved early in the year. Kind of made me wonder, why did you keep this guy around? But now it's becoming quite clear. He's been he's been a big contributor.
RB1.
Oh, but dude, Ed, just shy of another triple-digit game. So easy.
When he made the comments about he knows when kind of the opposing team is tired of getting hit, and you saw him early on just getting hit. It seemed like he was able to get those runs just because guys are getting sick of getting damn near their ribs broken off. Eddie just lowering his shoulder. I mean, he's just it's incredible to watch. He's almost more fun to watch in a different way than Rodgers, just because it's just imposing his will.
Yeah.
And just he's just so physical. No one wants to stop him. He's a tank. He's an absolute tank. And like when he was able to turn on his style burners and make that, that touchdown run there.
Oh, that was incredible. That was 44 yards.
Yeah,
longest of the year. You don't see a lot of those home run type runs from him.
Yeah.
He's not like, an Amon Green where like any touch
if he gets his
could
pace,
go.
he's gone.
Yeah.
He's not the fastest. He's a great balance of all skills, but he doesn't have top end, but he's got the clearance and just went up, and like his ability to just he'll at least fall forward, and like the amount of times that he would get his first, second contact, and he always ends 2 or 3 yards beyond that. It's incredible. It's
Well, a quick Sheboygan shout out to that offensive line. They've been doing so well lately, and that is just like, that's the kind of thing where you never hear about an offensive lineman or like even a unit. It's just so taken for granted if they're doing their job, and dude, that is what we got going on. Yeah. That's a wonderful thing.
It is. They are.
I'll give another Sheboygan shout out to the tight ends for getting involved a little bit. You talked about that's kind of one of the ways to bust up the Tampa 2.
Yep.
You like to see Corliss, Richard Rodgers getting some catches in there, but if I had to pick on Sam Shields on the defense, on the offense, I don't know how fair this is. Dude's a rookie, but Devontae Adams dropping balls. He had one where like the defense timed like just a great hit on him in the red zone, which that's tough for anybody to hang on to that.
But there was the over the middle
down.
where it was directly in his. I mean, it was both hands. The guy was around his legs or whatever. But I mean, if you wanted to stick around and have a good set of years in career, he should have brought that in. It's a matter between being good and great or float around. I mean, it felt like Rodgers kept giving opportunities. He wasn't going to abandon them after one bad. And, he made some and he didn't make some. And
like after that, he did have, like I said, on those quick outs to the side. Like that was they want the ball in Devontae's hands. I mean, they even tried him as like a kick returner and stuff in the preseason. They want him to get involved, but it's a big game for a rookie. And I don't think he's there yet, but I like the kid. I think he's got promise. Let me ask you this, Tom. Clearly, this is one of the best Packers duos for a top 2 receivers. Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson is awesome, Packers fans. Enjoy it. This is sweet. It may not even be around next year. We'll see. I think it will be, but is it worth it to have a solid top 2 as solid as they are, where you don't have like a clear-cut 3 or a reliable 3, 4, 5? I mean, you saw it early in the year before Devontae kind of like worked his way up. You saw Jarrett Boykin with a series of drops. Is it worth it?
If we didn't have Eddie, I would say no, it's not worth it. Almost. If we were feast or famine on the pass, you'd have to have more, because whether it's risk of injury or them just shutting one guy down and getting it and committing to pass, but that we are legitimately always 2-dimensional, if not that 3rd-dimensional, when you're talking play action and draws. But I would say, damn, Kyle Orton is a handsome man.
Fucking
Buffalo 7,
Dave
Oakland
Grohl
0.
out there under center for Buffalo right now.
But because we have that, the 2 dimensions always, I mean, I think we're, at advantage, because you can only have, we can't have the, a silver spoon or a cake and eat it too. We can't have just, our 5 wide plus Eddie Lacy and James Starks.
We had it so good that record-setting year of 2011. I mean, that was, that was 5 wide plus J. Mike. I mean,
regardless of what happened in the playoffs, the talent of that receiving core was without question.
But there was
much
no running
deeper.
back.
Yeah.
So you would trade. You would have more balance. Like if it, you have to substitute.
I would rather kind of have what we have now, because after just getting done talking about Lacy,
right. I think they're finally figuring it out. Like we talked early in the year, Rodgers didn't have a whole lot of experience with a running back as good as Eddie Lacy, and it's taken them a while to figure it out. And it's very promising to have that kind of balance going into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And make no mistake, Packers fans, the playoffs started today.
Yes.
Today.
All these games count exponentially. seeding, record, momentum, everything. I mean, you need to win these. And now we're subbing into the all-important game. I mean, this decides that if you wanted this kind of late December divisional game, it's being handed to us exactly what we wanted. And
I want to talk one more thing, and then we'll get a little bigger picture.
Yes. There's a lot to talk about in this game.
Well, let's talk about the man, the maestro, Big Mac,
our father,
the namesake of our
Sons of McCarthy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I like that. We'll work on that a little bit. Maybe that's how we get him to have beer and pizza.
Yeah.
Mike, we're your long lost. Anyway,
we're kind of like his apostles.
So we talk about Pittsburgh macho. We talk about Mike McCarthy, who we just think is like a rad dude. He's not an outspoken blowhard, but he's no pushover.
Yeah.
This season, I don't know if it's because just like I'm watching and dissecting what Mike does a bit more. I don't know, but I have seen more stuff this year where he's just going for these statement moves. He is just trying to sock it to a team, like give them like a psychological dagger. He tried it today by going for it on fourth and goal. And he got stuffed.
Yes, it was a mentality of just like, it's us against you, like we're going to get this punch it in, and it didn't work. We won the game.
Why did he do that? Is it an old rivalry with Lovie Smith?
It's an alpha thing, I think. I mean, like when you're that close and you think you can win the game, and it's kind of just like momentum, and it's kind of just like, are you going to tuck your tail in, or are you going to, bark and fight? I think that's kind of the way he looks at it, because
oh my God, but in a game that close, like a field goal is pretty awesome.
Yes, but the way their offense and our defense was playing, if you put them on the 1 yard line, I mean, they did end up not getting any points off that.
Oh yeah, and then the Packers get it back with great field position. Yeah, I get that.
Risk reward, and I think he looked at his risk reward and also kind of asserting it, just like, no, we think we're going to get this. Damn right, we're going to try to get in there. I mean, to a certain part of me felt it the same way, because it's kind of just like, are you going to play on offense? Are you going to play offensively or defensively? And I think he wanted to show that we're going to be playing offensively the entire game. We're not just,
Well, we know he feels that basing your game plan around fear is something of a polluted mindset. So I get that.
That's
and
his words.
If you wanna put that on your defense, like if our offense doesn't do this, defense, this is on you.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Well, or even
about
that,
it.
just like, we'll be back, and like, because it is a confidence to just our team, because like when it's close 4th and 1, it's just like, oh, he doesn't have enough faith in his offense to do it. So it's kind of just like, it's kind of a vote of confidence, because it's not like it's degrading Mason Crosby from 1 yard out. I mean,
right.
It's not just
it's
like
not
we
saying
don't
that you don't have faith in
Mason.
Yeah,
It's more just like, I think our offense can do this.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, it's
I can live with that.
So
I can live with that. Well, all right. Well, with that win, we are going to the playoffs one way or another, Green Bay.
Should we maybe pause for station identification and more libation from our location here at the Green Bay Distillery,
Station?
which has been so kind to us and brought us hospitality, and not only have their own vodka, but a wide selection of good local craft brews and plenty of TVs, time, and the menu is just...
it's a good restaurant, man. Yeah. Our man Pickle up in the kitchen.
Yeah, just putting things together. It's a fun place to be at, and it's some pretty killer concerts here and some pretty big banquet space. I mean,
I even got kicked out of a concert here once.
Yeah,
but I don't hold that against them. They still bring some good bands here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Distillery, for having us.
Yes. So we'll bring it down, and we'll be back with your look around a bigger picture of the NFC as the playoffs continue in just one moment. Three, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody. We are back here, part 2 of this little live broadcast. We got more beers up at the bar and more friends, and just keep an eye on all these games going around us. But we have some guests that we've brought in here.
Some special guests here, live at the Green Bay Distillery. To my left, your right,
Molly.
And you are?
Kaylee.
Molly and Kaylee, thank you so much for joining us today. Molly, how long have you been working at the distillery?
About 2 years.
About 2 years, and you've enjoyed every minute of it?
Absolutely.
Kaylee, what do you do here? How long you been here?
I am the front of house manager here. I've been here a little over 3 years. We opened 3 years ago in August.
So damn near
Day one.
since the beginning.
Yep.
What do you guys, and don't mince words here, what do you think about Jason Burkhardt, lovingly known as Pickle?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
You heard it here first.
He's a longtime friend of ours. He's just brought us in, and I mean, everything you see here has been the utmost hospitality. Kaylee set this up, and something you see behind us is some Green Bay Distillery vodka, and they're kind of one of the only distilleries in town that really is loud and proud a Green Bay product.
A lot of local beer, but no local booze. Very impressed. Do you guys like, what is your favorite flavor of Green Bay vodka?
I like the citrus.
And
Citrus.
Cherry. But they're all good.
And what are some of the most popular cocktails someone can get in here? I mean, if you were to choose a couple of your vodkas and say what some of the most popular mixers are, what would you order up for somebody?
Because I like the cherry, I would say cherry and lemonade.
Our
But
loaded
goes good with a
Bloody
lot.
Marys.
Loaded Bloody Marys with the original vodka?
Original vodka, yep.
Can I put a suggestion forth? I love if you guys would do like a pepper vodka. That would be really good in the, is there talks of that?
There has been in the past, yeah. We actually got to sample some.
Yep.
So maybe in the future we'll have that.
I'm stoked. I'm real stoked.
And these are bottled up, ready to go. I mean, it can be a Christmas gift. It can be anything you can tie up in a bottle, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
How's the Friday fish fry, Molly?
Oh, it's good. Our perch is amazing.
I can attest.
And tonight I saw a prime rib on special. Any other big specials that people should kind of know about as far as best deal in town kind of thing?
Well, every day we have a certain special, so always check on our website and go to our menu, and it has all of the specials for every single day. So.
Is that
Green Bay Distillery on
greenbaydistillery.com?
Yep, greenbaydistillery.com.
Excellent.
All right.
And also on the big video board over there, you guys always kind of got some big concert, because if you have not been here, there's a huge concert hall which have
Tremendous
had
hall.
some pretty awesome shows. I mean, I was at the Shaker Farewell show, and it was shoulder to shoulder and packed. So you guys get some pretty big names in here, even national, not just Shaker. I mean, you guys have had some, the Razor comes over here and a lot of stuff going on.
Yep, they just had Jacko here last week, and that was a big crowd. It was sold out.
Do you guys work the concerts?
I do, yes.
What are some of your favorite bands that you've seen here?
Pop Evil. There was Buck Cherry. That was amazing. So, yeah. A bunch.
Pop Evil, that was like last Sunday, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Big crowd?
Oh, yeah, it was packed.
And on game day, you guys obviously have a lot going on here too, don't you?
Mm-hmm. It's as big as the place is. It's still wall to wall packed with people, full of people, from everywhere too.
The point is they're open a lot more than just on game days, Green Bay and elsewhere. Come on down, check out the Green Bay Distillery. Come hang out with Kaylee and Molly, Pickle and the gang. Ladies, thank you so much.
Check them out
Thanks
on
so much for
Facebook, go to
having
the
us.
website, and get everything else. Thank you all for letting us hang out here.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks guys.
Right on. Green Bay Distillery.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
And that has just made it so easy to hang out here. I mean, it's just been fun. You know, you've been seeing, I'm a big fan of Titletown beer, and they got that here, And
That's what I've been drinking we've been drinking that all day. Yeah.
And just the food is here. Actually, was just at a surprise birthday party here in one of the rooms they got here. It's just it's a fun place to be, fun place to watch these games that we're watching that matter so much, because the Cowboys right now are really putting it to the Colts and staking their claim for a high seed too. They're not giving up. This is not Cowboys December football that we're used to watching.
We're not
just scored again.
We're waiting on the Romo choke, and it may not come this year. I mean, go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure, man. I mean, this is a heck of an NFC playoff picture as it unfolds. Perhaps no bigger game in the implications, whether you're Packers fans, Lions fans, or not,
And all of the
is going to
NFC
be
North.
right down the road here at the greatest stadium in professional everything, Lambeau Field. Week 17 matchup. Always kind of had the possibility of looming large on the schedule as a playoff showdown. But, man, it does not get any tighter than this.
No.
It is for the division. Loser still makes the playoffs. But, I mean,
There's no bones about it. It is for it all. Both teams are going to come salty as hell and ready to play.
Dude, Lions, of course, the on the wrong side of a winning streak in Wisconsin. It's been 23 years since the Lions have won in this great state. We sure hope to keep it that way next Sunday. We saw the Lions yet again. You know, all year they've been eking out these close victories, which a lot of them, I mean, you know, last week Vikings had them. You know, that was a chip shot, a rare Blair Walsh field goal miss away from the Vikings going in and stealing one in the Motor City.
And again, the Bears were hanging in there with the lead for a while there
With
today.
Jimmy Clausen,
Yeah.
no less. Unreal.
So, I mean, is that vulnerability good where you can only bank on being able to kind of pull out the you know, wonder upset or wonder comeback? Or, I mean, we look at us with this last game, even against the Bucs, you know, we're saying we perhaps didn't perform to our full potential against a team that was playing tough, but
I wouldn't say there was any miracle about the Detroit Lions, you know, at least on paper, going into Chicago against the Jimmy Clausen-led Bears team and what's likely like a lame duck coach.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that a whole lot of people expected Jimmy Clausen to beat the Lions. He sure came close, which gives me a bit of hope. And you know, I don't know. I had held out hope that the Cutler-led Bears were going to take this game from the Lions.
Right.
And
Give
then,
them
of
that one
course,
more-
this
and-
week they bench him.
And to a certain degree, like, you know, obviously perhaps the Chicago fan base was going restless, but for the last two games when you're out of it, what do you lose by just, you know, not making the turmoil of just keeping Cutler in there? And that's regardless of what I've said about, you know, keeping Cutler in there because it's good for the entire other 31 teams. But
Well, you know what the one theory is? That they all but have a trade lined up, and they don't want to play him because they don't want to injure him and get that trade nullified. And this trade would be an historic trade for the NFL in that there's never what the talks are, and we'll see, of course. But this is fun speculation.
Very.
That the Bears have to package a high draft pick with Jay Cutler to get somebody to take on that sorry contract that Phil Emery, general manager of the Bears, extended him to in the offseason, looking like just a ridiculous contract in retrospect.
I cannot think of a predicament like this that a team has been in just with this kind of contract setup, this kind of player contract, because, you know, for any Brewers fan over there, it's almost kind of like, you know, Cutler's a Manny Parra, but even worse because of his attitude, but a guy who has all the physical skills, but just between the ears cannot put it together. And you're hoping, you think of the potential, and they didn't even commit all that money to Manny Parra, but I mean, you had your bets. I mean, what do you do? I mean, do you just eat that money and send it away? And there's no way. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before. You're not going to even get, as bad as Cutler is, who are you going to be able to get besides a knockout draft pick in the middle of the round that is going to be better than Jay Cutler? Right. What? How are you going to stay in your position? I mean, there's been
going to be free agents out there. I mean,
there's been talk about an RG3 Cutler straight up swap that both teams take each other's problems. I mean, do you really want to do that? You know,
change the scenario, roll the dice on that if you're Chicago. I mean, like, I think, you know, to put that one to bed, I think Griffin is staying in Washington. I don't see how they.
Well, it seems like either kind of no Gruden or no RG3.
Oh,
perhaps
really?
some of the comments have been blown out of proportion, but I don't see how. I don't know. I'm on the side where it feels like RG3 has to change some of his tendencies because it doesn't seem like he's that kind of, you know, like a chip on his shoulder where he's going to spend those extra hours in the film room and working with his receivers, and just like he has to change, you know, something, and you know.
Well, I mean, that's luckily not our problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a pretty sweet position, and we know it, and we appreciate it here in Green Bay, and it's going to be one hell of a Week 17 matchup.
The NFC has really kind of tightened up. With what you're seeing of the top two teams in the West, and the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Philadelphia is faded out in the East, but you have the Cowboys who are they're playing well.
Seahawks resurgent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll try to hit you up as soon as we can with an update on the full picture. But for today, the Packers taking care of business handily. That score 20-3, looking a lot closer than it actually was.
Yeah.
You know, as much as the Buffalo game felt like Buffalo was that much further out ahead of us. This game felt like we were that much further out ahead of the Buccaneers.
It was, yes.
Nice turnaround game for the Pack. Quality road win against a team that had nothing to lose. Familiar opponents in terms of the coaching staff. They took care of it today.
It was. It felt good. It was all around. I mean, there were some holes to be filled. It wasn't the sharpest, but there were so many quality components. We talked about the number of people on defense who were getting, their accolades and their plays in, and then just Cobb, Lacey.
Oh, hang on. Professor Pigskin texted me. Professor Pigskin via text message. We've got some numbers.
The utmost ridiculousness has a couple items that we need to bring to attention that gives only the insight that Professor Pigskin brings in, because I mean, this man is a man that can just watch the game and kind of, pick maybe, some of the under-earth things. So why don't you hit us with a couple things from our main man, Pie Dog.
Statitude coming at you. 7 sacks. Take a drink.
7.
Grand total for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, 109 yards. And of those 109 yards, rushing total, 16 yards our defense allowed.
Wow.
Talking playoff defense, Green Bay Packers fans, that's money. That's real cool. I don't care who they're going against. 3 points, that's what they're expected to do, and they sure as hell did it today.
What a great game for confidence when you really need our defense to maybe generate some pressure, some turnovers, some dropbacks, some short drives, some 3-and-outs, for them to come in against a tough Lions team who have proven themselves to be legitimate. I mean, credit to Caldwell for bringing a quality program, but our guys coming off with some a full head of steam, and
Yeah, I don't. The people who aren't crediting Caldwell are pretty silly in my opinion. I mean, He came in and did some stuff, but still, there is a culture of losing that is it's consistent in Detroit. I mean, I thought maybe it was gonna fade, but just checking out this game a little bit today against Chicago, some dirty plays. Ziggy Ansah, like with the headshot on Clausen. Whatever the other dude on the Detroit Lions stomped on a Chicago Bear.
Ariola. Dominic, who I have oh man, don't get me started on Dominic. And it's even it's before his flicking off the band and everything. I mean, he is just a meathead punk ass. He's just a dirty. He's one of those guys that'll do the violent head bob before he snaps it to try to do the offsides, which I just never respected, because it's just it's just he's I would love to just see him get pushed back. I mean,
hey man, losing mindset. Time of the season, man. May the right prevail and the wrong will fail.
Yes.
Hopefully that's the case here in Green Bay a week from today.
We got a lot to look forward to as far as tomorrow's comments and any of the other notes that come out as far as any tweaks or changes, and then it's kind of the
check on the Eddie Lacy injury, but
Lots to talk about come the middle of the week here, which check for it out. Always on the same YouTube channel, Cheddar Mob.
Cheddar Mob. Right on. Thanks so much for checking us out today, being part of this new experiment. Green Bay Distillery, Green Bay Vodka.
Maybe about time to get some grub, get some drinks here, and hope to see you back real soon. And
play
keep
some
talking
skee-ball
about Packers football.
Right on.
Yep.
TV. It's been real.
MED. My man.
For Tommy Burns, I have been Matty Day.
For Matty Day, I'm Tommy Burns. And we were sort of live, remote McCarthy way.
Right across from Stadium Drive. Thank you.